they're starting to form.
It's never boring.
I'm gonna take care of it.
We have the #1 show of late night, Zamora, coming to Showtime in February. We gotta get us some new chairs. What about this?
Yeah, you wanna make a baby? Yeah.
We should make the set look like intake at Rikers.
Yeah.
Who would you like to have on the show?
First guest, Kim's new baby, in utero interview. Who's doing that in late night? Nobody.
I'm a baby, wah.
We can get guests to polish our shoes while we interview them. Boom. Let's go make a TV show.
Get it, man. And I'm taking this with me too, bro.
Introducing the undefeated Gervonta
Davis! Davis, oh, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. A 30-second knockout. The drops up, goes down. Gervonta Davis becomes the youngest champion in boxing.
And he puts him down with the left hand. One more and it's all over. He stopped it. And Gervonta Davis is still the champion.
Oh, that's the first time the ticket's gone down. And the fight has been stopped. Blistering speed on display from Davis. And there's the liver shot that drops Quajar. What a combination. And down goes Quajar for the third time.
Is this the future of boxing? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Said, knock you out, and that is what we plan on doing Saturday night on Showtime Championship Boxing. It will be headlined by a bona fide knockout artist, two-time 130-pound champion Gervonta Tank Davis, 20-0 with 19 KOs. He was supposed to take on three-division champion Abner Maris fellow due to a detached retina, and Hugo Ruiz, former 122-pound champion, stepping up not only on short notice, but stepping up in weight as well. So much to get to regarding our triple header on Saturday night. I am Mario Barrios. He is former two-division champion, my Showtime Championship boxing colleague, Paulie Malignaggi, and CBSSports.com's that handsome man over there is Brian Campbell. But guess what? This is the official weigh-in show. And the wait for the weights is over. Let's go to Hall of Fame ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you, and indeed we welcome you to the Western Los Angeles Airport here in Los Angeles, California, as Premier Boxing Champions presents the official weigh-in for our big night of action taking place tomorrow night at the Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California. And it's all brought to you by 155 3/4 pounds, the same as his opponent, 155 3/4 pounds.
Yes, nigga. You'll see. You a bitch ass nigga. You know you're not ready.
You'll see.
You know you're not ready.
You my son.
I'm gonna take you to
school.
You my son.
I'm gonna take you to school.
Just like you're
a
transformer.
Shut up.
You're a transformer, nigga. You've been knocked out.
You're a bum.
You've been knocked
You're
out.
a bum.
You've been knocked
you lost
out.
10 times.
You've been knocked
You're a
out.
bum.
You're gonna lose tomorrow.
I'm gonna take you to school.
I ain't never been to sleep.
And it's going to be very interesting. Super welterweights, 10 rounds of boxing. Erickson, Hammer, Lubin, Sugar Shea, Ishe Smith.
He gets pushed, he's going over. Stick around, Ishe, stick around.
Well, the verbal sparring will manifest into what we hope will be fists of fury when Ishe Smith faces Erickson Lubin as part of the Showtime Championship Boxing Countdown show. But let's get to Steve Farhood, who's on stage with Lubin.
A little bit of bad emotion going on here. To explain what just happened.
He run his mouth. We know he always come and run his mouth. He does it on the internet and all that type of stuff. But you know, you gotta let them hands talk tomorrow night. You gotta let them hands talk tomorrow, man. You're not ready. You're a bum. You're a bum. You lost 10 times. You already. Hey, get ready for your 11th loss. I promise you that. I promise you that. And you fuck around, go to sleep. You fuck around, go to sleep. You fuck around. So put your check up. Put your check up, bum. Put your check up. You need it, you bum.
All right, I guess that's it for Erickson Lubin. Ishe, come on in here. Explain what just happened and the emotion.
Well, he my son. I've been doing this shit 19 years, man. If all you got on me is that I lost in 19 years, then so be it. That's less than what, 1 loss a year? How many split decisions I got? First loss was on the Contender to Sergio Moore. It is what it is. You call some of my greatest fights. I also beat a lot of motherfuckers too, so it don't matter. He been to sleep. He been to sleep. He transformed when he went to sleep. His ass gonna transform tomorrow too.
Easy. I don't have to ask any questions.
Well, that was fun as Erickson Lubin, who is coming off the first loss of his career, a highly touted prospect who was starched by Jermell Charlo's right hand. He's just 23 years of age, and he will face the 40-year-old Ishe Smith competing in his 40th pro bout, the first Las Vegas-born champion. But guys, you talk about fireworks. I hope we get the fistic variety because we've been treated to the verbal ones. And Brian, you will be a part of the broadcast on the social media pages for this special 2-fight streaming, the Showtime Championship Boxing Countdown show. Did you expect this on the stage?
I did, getting a chance to talk to Lubin yesterday. Look, I'll have what they're having over there because they're getting me fired up for this. What this is, of course, really good crossroads fight at 154. Guys, we got to give Ishe Smith respect. Yeah, lost 10 times. I love the fighter he is and has become. Late in his age, he's an action fun fighter, wily veteran, but he makes you work for it. We've seen him go the distance with a lot of tough guys on the way up. I thought maybe he won a couple of those and didn't get it. You're going to find out how good Erickson Lubin is because Ishe Smith's going to make him.
Yeah, you know, he's an ex-world champion, almost sort of a gatekeeper. You know, as your career goes into the later stages, you become that wily veteran, like Brian's saying, you know, and having that wily veteranship, you have a lot of the tricks of the trade that will allow you to survive a little bit into the later rounds when against young, explosive guys like an Erickson Lubin. And maybe if you're wily enough, you can bring out some errors that can maybe cost Erickson Lubin, you know, like, and so I think that's more so what you're looking for out of Ishe Smith. You know, as an older guy myself now, considering the fight game, you know, I like younger guys having a little bit of respect for the older guys because they've been there and they've done the things that these younger guys want to accomplish. But I also understand from Erickson Lubin's perspective the competitiveness. And when you're that age, you have so much fire and passion about accomplishing what you want to do that sometimes, you know, you get these matchups and it turns a bit fiery. I remember me and Amir Khan, you know, I was a little older, I was 29 and Amir was 23 years old, just got here. So I understood that young, fiery part of him, even me and Adrian Bronner, again, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it brings you as the older guy, it makes you feel a little bit younger again. You know, you get back into that trash talking, you get back into that fiery conversation. It can bring out some of the better parts of you. You know, I don't mind it. I have to say, from an entertainment perspective, I don't mind it. But also, when you're older, less things get you fired up. So when you can get fired up as an older fighter, maybe you can get a little bit more motivation.
Well, they're serving up the sizzle, Brian. They want to serve up the substance on Saturday. And when you look at Erickson Lubin, one of the reasons he was such a highly touted prospect, a natural right-hander fighting out of a southpaw stance, has that power closest to his opponent's target. How do you see the path to victory for Lubin against a guy who has seen it all in Ishe Smith?
Well, there's a clear challenge for Lubin, and I like the aggressiveness. He's come out and said it. Ishe Smith never been stopped over this long career. He says not only he wants to be the first, he will be the first. And the thing for Lubin, can punch with both hands, can walk you down. I want to see the full package with Kevin Cunningham. First fight bringing on a real tough, no-nonsense experienced trainer. Lubin said he benefited a lot being in Adrian Bronner's camp ahead of the Pacquiao fight. Really learned from that other side of AB, not the comical in front of the camera side, but the behind-the-scenes guy. I think he seems like he's bounced back mentally from that loss to Jermell Charlo, which can really put a fighter down mentally coming back from that. I'd like to see him put the punches together, walk down, and try to finish Ishe Smith, see if he can be the hammer in name form. Had a lot of hype coming up behind him. We thought we were going to find out how good he was against Charlo. We never got that chance.
Hey, Paulie, what about you for Lubin? What are the biggest adjustments he needs to make coming off not only the first loss of his career at a young age where he had all the hype, but the fact that he was knocked out?
Well, you know, sometimes that happens to you. You know, the thing about Lubin was I think he was always a promising prospect, and I think he still can be a guy who can really be a fighter who will have a lot of success for the next decade or so. It's just sometimes your first world title shot may come against a more beatable champion, and sometimes your first world title shot, you know, the timing happens to be that the champion is a lot stronger, you know, and he wound up against a tough world champion, and he never got started. I still believe that fight would have been good, but it turned out to be end early.
You talk about Ishe Smith and what he brings to the table. His first training camp was with Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker, Whitaker's chief sparring partner when he faced Felix Trinidad. You talk about getting a mental level education right off the jump.
Well, he's seen it all. I mean, we know he's got the greatest meme in boxing history, 2013, when he won his first title. So emotional, always wears his heart on the sleeve, and I think this older version of Ishe wears a lot more on his sleeve. He comes after you. Yeah, he's smart and crafty, looks to counter big, but he tries to back you up right away and find out what you got if you really are that next level person. That's why I think this fight is going to be fun from the very beginning. If that didn't fire you up, I think we're going to see some action in there.
All right, speaking of the 155-pound weight class, let's go to Steve Farrad and Jared Hurd.
We're not sure right now. Nothing's concrete. But, yeah, bringing the fight back to D.C.
Did you see the little tete between Lubin and Ishe?
Oh, yeah, man. It's a lot of animosity in the air. It's going to be a great fight.
That's your weight class.
Yeah, it's definitely my weight class. They both can be future opponents. We'll see, though.
So what do you make of Julian Williams if indeed that is your homecoming fight?
Julian Williams is no slouch. You know, he only has a loss in a world title fight. I know it's going to be a tough fight for me, but we always come prepared, so I'm not worried.
And by the way, for those who don't know out here, this was the winner of 2018 Fight of the Year. That was pretty much a unanimous selection with your fight against Erislandy Lara, who's fighting in about a month on Showtime. Is there ever any consideration, because it was such a great fight, to do it again or no?
Of course, man. Listen, I'm a world champion. I'll face anybody. I'm ready for whatever.
Last thing, you're such a big junior middleweight. Will you be a junior middleweight for a while longer, or when are we looking at the jump to middleweight? I know you get asked that question all the time.
That's a question everyone asks, man. You know, I make the weight fairly easy. I'm looking to become the undisputed champion, so I'm going to stick around for a while. hopefully I get the fights at both of the champions, and if not, I'll move up to 160 and take over that weight.
We love watching you fight, Jared Hurd. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Steve and Jared Hurd. And guys, yeah, Jared Hurd, Erislandy Lara, the 2018 Fight of the Year, and Lara involved in a spirited affair with Alfredo Angulo at the venue. We'll be at Saturday night, the former StubHub Center. And this venue, one of my favorites, it's a Fight of the Year factory. 3 of the last 6 fights of the year have taken place at what I like to call the former StubHub Center. And you look at it, we were there for Lucas Matisse, John Molina, Ruslan Provodnikov, Timothy Bradley. What about Israel
Guerrero,
Vasquez,
Guerrero,
Rafael Marquez?
Guerrero and
Kamagai was there. So what is it? I mean, again, you know, you talk about Madison Square Garden, you talk about Las Vegas, the fight capital of the world. What is it about this intimate venue, Mr. Campbell?
I like the way it's designed, the tennis format, where the fans seem to be on top of the action, but I also think it's Southern California, the culture. These are real fight fans. These are real fight fans that appreciate that Mexican style, if you will, of fighters that bring it out. And I think it's the atmosphere that brings it out of you in a lot of ways, whether you want it or not. You mentioned MSG. Everything's big in MSG, right? Whether it's the circus, whether it's a concert, whether it's whatever, you're going to see
whether it's WrestleMania.
Whether it's WrestleMania, brother. I think obviously the Dignity Health Sports Park, call it what you will, StubHub Center, it's brought it out on a lot of people. You don't think you're going to war. You walk through those doors. Somebody might throw a pizza at you. Didn't that happen there too?
Well, I got hit with a beer when Fafara knocked out Chavez Jr.
Yeah, when Chavez Jr. quit on his stool, we had the beer. I hope it was beer.
I hope it was beer.
It was something
it smelled like
same
beer.
color.
Victor Ortiz, Andre Berto too was there.
Yes. And when you look at, and by the way, we are vamping because of the fact that Gervonta Davis, who by the way skipped on his fighter meeting earlier today, has still not shown up. And we have to not bury the lead. This guy missed weight against Francisco Fonseca on the biggest stage any fighter could have as the co-feature to Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor. People say he's not long for the 130-pound weight class. And again, pure speculation. But what do you think is going on here, Paulie?
I don't know. I mean, we can only speculate that he's still making weight, but, you know, because I know in my experience, no fighters that have to make weight want to get to the weigh-in late because they want to get to the weigh-in and then be able to eat and hydrate again. So, you know, the speculation, the educated guess, so to speak, might be that he's still making weight and he's, you know, maybe hasn't made it. We'll see.
Brian,
hopefully not.
we talk about him being the youngest American champion, the youngest of the 130-pound champions, just 24 years of age, has, leading up to this fight, said all the right things, talked about the issues he had with his promoter, Mayweather Promotions. They seem to have made amends. The fact that he's had problems with the law. He said that he changed after his daughter was born last summer. Well, less than a month later, he was arrested for an altercation outside of a nightclub. You can talk about too much too soon, but this guy says he wants to be the next pay-per-view star. He says he's going to be ready for a pay-per-view in 2020. Talk about how he has to get there.
I think it all starts Saturday night. Let's make no mistake about it. 2019 is the biggest year of Gervonta Davis's career. He says he wants to be active, wants to fight 3 times this calendar year. Since we've seen him in 3 rounds in the last 18 months. He's got a lot to prove, not just inside the ring, also outside of it, also with maturity. Wants to be that next pay-per-view star. Yes, we've seen the flashes, brilliant flashes, but it's going to take the mentality. So this is going to be a big chance for him to come out and show
All right,
that.
we'll get more from you, Paulie and Brian, but let's go back to the stage and Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Well, fans, from the Westin Los Angeles Airport, Premier Boxing Champions presents the official weigh-in for our televised portion of our big night of action taking place tomorrow night at the Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California. Our action, once again, is brought to you courtesy of Mayweather Promotions, TGB Promotions, Samson Boxing, and Showtime. At this time, we present fighters for our opening bout on Showtime. 10 rounds of boxing in the lightweight division. First inviting to the stage at this time, fighting out of Las Vegas by way of Kampala in Uganda. His record 32-1 with 20 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the former world title challenger, introducing Sharif, the Lion Bogere. And now we invite his opponent to the stage at this time, hailing from La Romana in the Dominican Republic. He's currently ranked the WBC #4 lightweight in the world. Here is the former WBA super featherweight champion of the world, introducing El Abejón, Javier Fortuna. And it looks like we're ready to bring our fighters onto the scale at this time. Once again, lightweights in action, 10 rounds of boxing. First here is a gentleman in his 33 career fights. Only setback was in his world title challenge. Please welcome from Kampala, Uganda, Sharif the Lion Bogere. 135.5 pounds, 135.5 pounds for Sharif Bogere. And we're going to bring his opponent to the scale at this time. 23 knockouts in his 33 wins. He's ranked the number 4 world ranked contender as a lightweight. Please welcome Javier El Abejón Fortuna. Right at the limit of 135 pounds, 135 for Javier Fortuna. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this opens up our broadcast on Showtime Championship Boxing. 10 rounds of boxing, a lightweight special attraction. Javier El Abejón Fortuna versus Sharif the Lion Bogere. And at this time, my pleasure to present to you, gentlemen, to interview our fighters, Hall of Fame reporter Steve Farhood.
Get in the middle, Phil. In the middle. Javier, camera's right over there. Felix De Jesus will translate for us. Can you ask Javier, he told us in the fighter meetings that Bogere is not strong enough, doesn't have the skill level. Is he guaranteeing a knockout tomorrow night?
Mencionaste en el meeting que es muy lento, al igual que no tiene la habilidad que tú tienes. ¿Tú estás garantizando un knockout mañana?
Vamos a esperar que la pelea se desarrolle desde que salga un inicio. Si el knockout llega, amén. Si no, se pasa por la decisión un 190.
Yeah. If the knockout comes, it's going to come, but you know, he's going to be preparing for it. If it doesn't come, then by decision he'll win.
Last question. I know he wants a title fight after this fight. Last fight he fought at 140 pounds. This fight 135. It wasn't long ago he was at 130. What division would he like to challenge to reclaim a world title?
Sabemos que quiere pelear por un título. ¿En qué división? 140, 135, 130. ¿A quién quieres?
Por el tercer título. Sí, por el tercer título, si me dan la oportunidad, y también si me dan la oportunidad en 130, ya que ahora tengo un nuevo equipo, pero me gustaría pelear con el mejor de 135. Let's go, Lomachenko.
Oh, he wants to fight the best at 135. If 130 also comes, he'll take it. But that's the fight he's looking for if he wins this one.
Good luck. Buena suerte. Thank you, Felix.
All right, fans, here we go. Premier Boxing Champions presents the official weigh-in for our semi-main event of the evening 10-round attraction in the super lightweight division. First, please welcome to the stage at this time, joining us from Matehuala, San Luis Potosí in Mexico. His record 15-2 with 10 knockouts. Introducing Richard Diamante Zamora. And we invite his opponent to the stage at this time, joining us from San Antonio, Texas, undefeated at 22-0 with 14 knockouts. Please welcome the undefeated WBC #1 contender, Mario El Azteca Barrios. And now let's bring our fighters to the scale on this fight. This is a catchweight over the limit of super lightweights in attraction. 143 is the weight limit on this fight. First, from Matehuala, San Luis Potosí, please welcome Richard Diamante Zamora. Zamora making his U.S. debut on the scale at this time. 141.2 pounds, 141 and a quarter, we're going to call it. 141 and 1/4 pounds for Richard Zamora. His opponent stepping up to the scale at this time, once again, the undefeated WBC #1 super lightweight contender, Mario El Azteca Barrios. 142.5 pounds, 142.5 pounds for Mario Barrios. And once again, we have International Boxing Hall of Famer Steve Farhood to have a chat with Mario Barrios in the super lightweight special attraction. For that, we're going to have our fighters square off the last time they'll face each other before they meet in the center of the ring tomorrow night in our semi-main event on Showtime Championship Boxing. Once again, Steve Farhood here to chat with Mario Barrios.
Mario, you are universally regarded as one of the better young fighters in boxing. In your progression as you get toward a world title, what is the meaning of this fight?
The meaning of this fight, is to, just continue to showcase my talents, continue to represent my city of San Antonio, and, to give the boxing fans, a hell of a fight.
Your opponent, Zamora, we don't know a lot about him. There's only a couple of fights on YouTube of him. Is he dangerous because you don't know a lot about him?
Oh, of course he's dangerous, but the thing is, come Saturday night, I'm going to be more dangerous than him.
You are already ranked #1 in one of the organizations at WBA. How much longer are we talking before you get the big one?
Very soon. Like, I mean, I've said it before, you know, I'm ready right now. If it was up to me, I'd be fighting for the world title this weekend. But, I mean, for now, we're going to take it step by step.
You're going to be a heavyweight someday?
Who knows?
Mario, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Well, fans, we're ready to go from the Westin Los Angeles Airport. Premier Boxing Champions is ready to weigh in our fighters for the main event of the evening, brought to you by Mayweather Promotions, TGB Promotions, Samson Boxing, and Showtime. Our main event of the evening is 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Super Featherweight Championship of the World. First, ladies and gentlemen, as we invite our fighters to the stage, we invite our challenger. Hailing from Los Mochis, Sinaloa, Mexico, he's the former world champion, 32 knockouts in his 39 victories. Please welcome the challenger, Hugo Ruiz. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is the immensely talented defending world champion from Baltimore, Maryland. With a record of 20 wins, no losses, he has 19 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the undefeated and defending WBA Super Featherweight Champion of the World, known as the Tank, Gervonta Davis. And first we invite the challenger to the scale at this time. 130 pounds is the weight limit for the Super Featherweight World title bout. He's fresh off of his decisive victory just 3 weeks ago, ranked WBA number 10, number 7 by the WBC as a featherweight. Please welcome Hugo Ruiz. 129.5 pounds, 129.5 pounds for the challenger. And now we invite the defending champion to the scale, one of the young stars of boxing today. He is the two-time 130-pound champion of the world, the current reigning WBA featherweight, super featherweight champion of the world, the Tank, Gervonta Davis. The initial weight was precisely 130.4 pounds. We're going to hold up a towel. See if Gervonta Davis can make that weight limit of 130 pounds. $130.2 pounds, just 0.2 of a pound over the weight limit. California rules state that he has up to 2 hours to make that 130-pound weight limit to defend his title and hopefully retain it in the ring. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Showtime Championship Boxing main event of the evening. 12 rounds for the WBA Super Featherweight Championship of the World. The Tank Gervonta Davis versus Hugo Ruiz.
Gervonta, you have some work to do. We'll let you go. But the state commission here has given you 30 minutes to lose the .2. How confident are you can do it?
I'm going to do it in 30 seconds a minute, so I'll be back.
How much did you struggle to get to this point?
I didn't struggle at all. If you know, I just was in New York probably like 3 weeks ago, and I was, a little heavier than what I am now, but I'm okay. I felt great.
Go lose that weight. And we're going to talk to Hugo Ruiz as well. Felix De Jesus will translate. Can you ask Hugo, is he surprised that his opponent failed to make weight?
¿Estás sorprendido que no pudo ser el peso, Gervonta?
La verdad no, porque ya había pasado en una ocasión que no lo había marcado, entonces era de esperarse que podía ser.
It's kind of expected. The last time he fought, he didn't make weight either, so he kind of expected it.
Speaking of weight, Hugo fought for the first time as a featherweight 3 weeks ago, and now he's moving up again to 130 pounds. How will that increased weight impact his performance?
Hablando de peso, peleaste para el peso pluma, en el peso pluma ahora el lightweight, peso ligero. ¿Cómo te va a afectar eso?
Me siento muy bien, me siento muy fuerte en este peso. Creo que ganando esta pelea, primero Dios, nos quedamos en la 130.
I feel great at this weight, 130 pounds, thanking God, and this is a great opportunity, and this is the weight I want to be at.
Last thing, he's doing something that we never see fighters do anymore, which is fight 3 weeks after his previous fight. How will that impact his performance?
Estamos mirando que no hace lo que los boxeadores hacen hoy en día, que es pelear después de 3 semanas. ¿Qué impacto va a tener eso para ti?
Bueno, me encuentro totalmente en ritmo. A mí me encantaría estar peleando cada mes, ¿no?
He says, I'm totally in rhythm. I would like to fight every month if I can.
We'd like fighters to fight more often, too. Thank you, Hugo. Good luck. Buena suerte. Thank you, Felix.
All right, so some drama involving Gervonta Tank Davis, and contrary to what we heard from the 130-pound champion, the struggle is real, guys, and depending upon how much saliva he has in his body, if he expectorates repeatedly, he should be able to lose it, right, Brian?
We mentioned so much brilliance, so much flashes of brilliance, but to be the next pay-per-view star like he's claiming to be, you got to deliver. You know, at Ronaldo's Pizza back in the day as a teenager, Abbotsford, British Columbia, you may have a great pie, but if you're not delivering it to the masses, who knows?
Hey, I started delivering at 16, but on to bigger things here, Paulie. Saturday night, we expect Gervonta Davis to be in sicko mode between the ropes, but he has been in sick mode, nursing a bit of a cold. You don't want to make excuses. It's happened before. Give us your take as a former two-division champion who knows the struggle of weight cutting. What might Davis be going through right now?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of times, when you're struggling to make weight, you can't be as healthy. You don't get the proper meals. You don't get the proper size meals. You're not as healthy just nutritionally, and sometimes that will cause your body to kind of be depleted and you get sick. I remember a lot of times that would also happen to me. As I was struggling to make weight, I would start to get a little bit sick, And it's I can't say it's par for the course, but it does happen at times. You would hope that Gervonta comes back and makes the weight, and then he's young. And when you're young, one advantage you have is you rehydrate and re-energize a lot faster. And so once he's eating after he's made the weight, if you assuming he makes it, then he'll be good to go for tomorrow night and be energized. These are the kind of struggles you don't want to go through when you're older. But when you're younger, your body almost forgives you and re-energizes if you do it right.
We talked about the fact that on the biggest stage of his career, the co-feature of Mayweather-McGregor, he missed weight by 2 pounds, dropped the 130-pound title on the scales against Francisco Fonseca. Are the boxing gods telling him he needs to move to 135, Brian?
I think so. You have a repeated cycle of proof here that this is happening. It's probably right for him. Look, he's a huge puncher at 130, has beaten a lot of featherweights coming up. does have a lot to prove. So in that regard, can he move up and fight bigger fighters? I think it might be that time physically. He's going to have to come back and show us on the scale he can do it.
He has the top knockout percentage at 130, 95%. We've talked about it, Paulie. Once that bell goes, I mean, he is an offensive dynamo. He loves to close the show. Just once in his career, he's gone the distance, and even in that 8-round fight, he knocked his opponent down twice. He has the tools to be the next pay-per-view star. Saturday night, he was supposed to face Abner Mares. We know that Mares had to withdraw due to his second detached retina, one in the left eye, now in the right eye, which puts his career in peril. 3-division champ. I know things aren't perfect going into this fight, as we know, but what do you expect from Gervonta Davis on Saturday night? What does he have to show you against a guy who not too long ago competed at 122, Ruiz 3 weeks ago fought at 126, and now moves up to 130 for the first time?
Well, you know, the thing about wanting to be a pay-per-view star is you raise the bar of expectation a lot higher. So obviously people are going to look for an explosive performance. They're going to look for an explosive knockout against a solid fighter in Ruiz, who's a world champion at 122 pounds, but it's a big jump from 122 pounds to 130 pounds. So you would think a big puncher, a naturally big puncher like Davis at 130 pounds is going to really make a guy like Ruiz, who was a good fighter at 122, really feel that thunder, you know? So, you know, we'll see. But of course, struggling to make weight, you don't know what kind of energy level he's going to be at. Maybe he's been a bit sick. One thing about these Mexican fighters, they come in shape and they come to fight. So I think Ruiz, his best asset would be to try to make Gervonta work. You take that at your own peril, though, because if you take the fight to Gervonta, you're walking into his firepower. I think it could be fun while it lasts. Gervonta has a chance to make an explosive statement, but if he doesn't, then Ruiz really has an opportunity to cause an upset with dragging this fight out a little bit longer than Gervonta might want it to.
Well, Brian, we know that Hugo Ruiz, 18 first-round knockouts. I mean, this guy, again, at a lighter weight, never has faced anyone close to the level of a Gervonta Davis, but taking the fight on less than 2 weeks' notice, having knocked down short-notice replacement Guevara in the first round before cruising to a comfortable victory in what was a glorified sparring session for the rest of the fight, he is prepared in 2 of his last 4 fights to face a left-hander. He was supposed to face a left-hander against Jack Tapora. Right now, it seems that everything is aligning for Hugo Ruiz in the fact that he's got a height and reach advantage against Davis. Davis has struggled to make weight. Ruiz really has nothing to lose, and I think he is going to take the fight to Davis from the get-go. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Those are the most dangerous fighters, the guys with nothing to lose. You can mention the stats, the 18 first-round knockouts for him, but here's the thing about Ruiz. He's tall and he's long, so it doesn't bring you that much fear. Can he be the same fighter at 130 that he was at the lower weight classes? You don't want to get fooled by a six-pack. Never trust a big butt and a smile is what Poison taught me as a kid. But he looked fantastic at 130 pounds on that scale. I'd like to see what he can do in there. I'm not as worried about the idea of moving up in weight. I think he's going to bring the fight to Tank. And I think for Davis, look, he can come out there and get an early knockout potentially. I don't think we're going to learn a lot from that. I think he's got to put in rounds and set up his punches, because here's the thing. We're learning that maybe 130 isn't his future. Sometimes when guys move up in weight, they don't carry that power. Adrian Broner, not the same puncher at 47 that he was at 135. I want to see Davis evolve as a boxer, a guy who can go rounds just as much as I can applaud his power. So I think there's a lot at stake for him in this fight that maybe you might not realize if you just look at it and go, no Abner Mares? Well, what do we have here?
Anything you want to add to the main event before we get your quick thoughts on the other 2 fights that we'll be showing on Showtime Championship Boxing?
No, it's basically just reiterating everything. If you want to be a pay-per-view star, it all has to come together. It's not just about winning anymore. A lot of fighters just win and they have successful careers, but if you want to be a pay-per-view star, which in turn makes you a megastar, it has to be the entire package. It's about winning, also the way you win, the charisma, the discipline you show. It's a lot of things. So and tomorrow night, as Brian said, there's a lot more at stake than just Gervonta Davis against Hugo Ruiz.
Yes.
It's professionalism to be a pay-per-view star. It's how you sell your own fights, too, on the microphone. I'd like to see more of Tank's personality. When you really get him one-on-one and you talk to him, there's a lot in there. Here's a guy who's had a different upbringing from a lot of guys. Seen a lot of things, and look where he is today. He's come through a lot.
A remarkable story, the fact that he escaped, survived one of the biggest crime-ridden cities in America, with all due respect to Baltimore, and the fact that he's always stated, he even went back and got his GD, wanted to show the youth, the next generation, that you can make it. He stayed in the gym when others were on the streets dealing drugs. A lot of those people are now dead or in jail, and yet he's finding himself in a bit of purgatory now in terms of which weight we will see him thrive as a fighter, but we hope that he will make the 130-pound limit, that he will face Hugo Ruiz in our main event. Now, Mario Barrios, he's also on the come-up. He's undefeated, 23-year-old, who really started his career as a highly regarded prospect. Hasn't faced competition to get people going, well, is he the next big thing? But he is riding a 6-fight knockout streak against short notice replacement Richard Zamora. What do you like most about a guy like Barrios?
I like how funny he is. I mean, if Ricky Martin was singing about him, he'd say he bangs, he bangs. He brings the action. Also has a really good trainer in his corner, Virgil Hunter, the careless whisperer, who can bring it down in mode, whisper in your ear, and what that means for him in camp. Been in there with Devin Haney, who we've seen a lot on Showtime. Been in there with Amir Khan. A lot of veteranship there to get him better. This is a really good opportunity in a co-main event on a big card to show us what he really has. I like the kid.
Yeah, Paulie, he is an offensive dynamo. We talk about his knockout power, his knockout streak against limited opposition, but under Virgil Hunter, growing both inside and outside the ring. Hunter telling us that he wants him to shorten his punches. He's been showing him a lot of video of the greats who were able to do that, like Mike Tyson, like Michael Spinks. What do you think about the Virgil Hunter effect on Barrios?
Well, you know, there's an advantage even to being tall and keeping your punches short. I remember Diego Corrales was so tall, but, you know, he had punched very, very short and got a lot of dynamite out of that. You know, I think Barrios is still a developing fighter, but he's showing a lot of promise, and there's a lot of talent there that can blossom into more than what we've seen. You know, and of course this is just part of the growing process. Is this next part? Also, when we talk about music, you know, you're always making musical references. Right now, Brian got you a Careless Whisper from George Michael, and he got you a She Bangs from Ricky Martin.
I started with an LL Cool J. He's going to be wearing his parachute pants for MC Hammer as they turn this mother out on the stream against the Hammer Time, Erickson Lupin. Hey, let's talk about the first fight on Showtime Championship Boxing. Javier Fortuna. His name maybe should be Miss Fortuna for what's been going on here, guys. Last fight, he fell out of the ring, unable to continue against Adrian Granados. And what was a fantastic fight for the first 3 rounds. No decision because it didn't go 4. Before that, gave Robert Easter the fight of his life. Missed weight, was unable to even vie for the 135-pound title, but loses. I mean, Javier Fortuna has not had a lot of luck here, guys, but he's also been responsible for a lot of his bad luck. The fouls, the missing weight.
He toes that line of what's acceptable inside the ring. But one thing about him, we always know he's got the power in that left hand. He does fight an exciting style. Had a little experiment at 140 pounds. Wants to come back down to 135 for this fight. Obviously, this is a tough matchup against Sharif Bogere. But if you read the headlines, if you get into the juicy social media stuff like me, it's calling out Gervonta Tank Davis. I'm not trying to matchmake for the future here, but Fortuna says, hey, brother, meet me at 35. Maybe I'll come down to 30 one more time to show you what's up. That could be an interesting match moving forward.
What do you like about Fortuna?
Unpredictability. You know, he's pretty explosive, very unorthodox, so he can land those explosive shots from weird angles and at weird moments. And you just never know what you're going to get with him, you know? Like, he does foul, but then he gets fouled, and all kinds of crazy stuff happens. You know, he's the kind of guy you don't want to blink when you're in the ring, but it's not just because of the knockouts. It's because literally anything can happen.
Well, and we deal in the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And Sharif Bogere, the truth is, for nearly 6 years,
where's he been?
Way under the radar. The Lion has been well sleeping, as they say, and but he's not been sleeping in opportunities. He feels that people have avoided him. But guys, the last time he was in a major fight against Richard Abril, you talk about ugly. A lot of mauling, a lot of wrestling, headbutting. Bogere, Fortuna, styles make fights. Are we going to see the best dressed list here?
I think we always have the potential to see the most incredible entrance coming out into that cage. But to quote Chris Algieri's former trainer, Tim Lane, it's time to let him out of that cage, all right? It's time to come back on the scene and arrive again and remind people. You almost have forgot. I'm still here. I'm Sharif Bogere. Nice to meet you again. He's got that chance against Fortuna. You know when there's a little bit of desperation sometimes in fights? You get action. We are in the right arena. We already set that stage. We put that narrative out there.
Carson Classics.
Health Sports Park, whatever we want to call it this time. This is the right house to prove yourself again. Fortuna may fall. He may spice things up a little bit, make that dish extra crazy. I think we're going to see something here.
What catches your eye when it comes to Bogere, other than his elaborate ring entrances we will be robbed of because someone stole the Lion?
Well, yeah, they did steal the Lion. Raimundo Beltran has a loss to Sharif Bogere, and that's one of the things that stands out to me. Beltran is an ex-world lightweight champion. Bogere has a win over him before Beltran won that title. So we know Bogere can compete at this level and compete very well at this level. Has had some bad luck, obviously, with the business part of the business part of the sport, and also bad luck with the Lion head, of course. But you know, one thing about boxing is, you know, it's rags to riches overnight, and sometimes it's misfortune to fortune overnight as well. So he's got a chance to really turn it around here with a big fight tomorrow night.
All right, so you will be a part of the coverage on the Showtime Sports digital media platforms with Showtime Championship Boxing Countdown, featuring a 154-pound crossroads affair as Ishe Smith, the 40-year-old in his 40th professional fight, tries to snap a 2-fight losing streak against the once beaten Erickson Lubin, now 23, but coming off that loss, the knockout to Jermell Charlo. That starts at 8 p.m. 5 Eastern on our digital media platforms. Paulie will join yours truly and Al Bernstein at ringside, along with Brian Custer, Jim Gray, and our Mr. Boxopedia, Steve Farhood. It's Showtime Championship Boxing, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. Make sure you join us tomorrow night. Gervonta Davis, Hugo Ruiz in the main event for what we hope will be a 130-pound affair. And I just want to say happy birthday to my brother Ezio. We'll see you tomorrow night on Showtime.
We have the #1 show of late night, Zamora, coming to Showtime in February. We gotta get us some new chairs.
What about this? Yeah. You wanna make a baby? Yeah.
We should make the set look like intake at Rikers.
Yeah.
Who would you like to have on the show?
First guest, Kim's new baby, in utero interview. Who's doing that in late night? Nobody.
I'm a baby, wang.
We can get guests to polish our shoes while we interview them. Boom. Let's go make a TV show.
Get it, baby. And I'm taking this with me too, bro.
Introducing the undefeated Gervonta
Davis!
Davis, oh, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. A 30-second knockout.
The drops up, goes down! Gervonta Davis becomes the youngest champion in boxing!
And he puts him down with the left hand. One more and it's all over. He stopped it. And Gervonta Davis is still the champion.
Oh, that's the first time the ticket's gone down. And the fight has been stopped. Blistering speed on display from Davis. And there's the liver shot that drops Quasar. What a combination. And down goes Quasar for the third time.
Is this the future of boxing? Abso-fucking-lutely.
To the moms!
Our plan is starting to form.
It's never boring.
I'm gonna take care of it.